Get in there! Get in there! Hurry! Hurry!
Get in there.
The union stood up and fought for you, and we did the best we could with the circumstances we had in front of us.
What's in the best interest of your members?
To be able to earn a living for themselves and their families.
So you're saying a 3-year deal?
Correct.
Are you at least saying that there was some kind of wage increase that was made?
There was.
So the 9,000 members of District Council 33 walked off the job when their contract expired on July 1st. We saw
Back
the
to
trash
work,
piling up
slaves.
across the city as sanitation workers walked the picket line for 9 days. But trash collectors only make up a portion of union members, which also includes 911 dispatch, medical examiners, library workers, and airport maintenance, to name a few of those positions. We know negotiations involved more than just wage increases and included healthcare benefits, paid time off, and pension contributions. But it was the pay that really took the focus during this strike, as workers said they were struggling to make a living wage. They'll now make a final vote on whether to approve the 9% raise. That total is coupled with a 5% increase they got during last year's contract extension. So it all totals out to 14% over the mayor's first term. Mayor Sherrell Parker is calling that 4-year total historic and has said that no other mayor has offered a raise that high over one term. I want to give you a look there at a statement from the mayor saying, in part, quote, "We're valuing our workforce and we're safeguarding our city's hard-earned fiscal stability at the same time." The union president also saying that it's likely that workers will be returning to the job this morning. So we'll definitely stay on top of that. We've asked the city, what should people do if they have trash pickup today? Should they take it to the temporary dump sites or should they put it on the curb? We're still waiting on a reply for more clarification on that. For now, reporting live here in West Philadelphia, Corey Davis, Channel 6 Action News.
All that protesting for nothing, huh? Y'all ain't get nothing accomplished. Nothing accomplished but the same deal she had on the table in the beginning. So all this was for nothing. It goes to show you that you're a modern day slave. I told y'all that. We modern day slaves, y'all. Now, when did the judges start getting into politics? You understand me? So they threatened the workers with the judges. So the judges can make them go back to work. So if they don't go back to work, they're held in contempt. Another form of slavery. When did judges become political, y'all? You see? Same shit the judges doing with Donald Trump. They trying to be political judges, and they want to rule the goddamn country. And they not putting those positions for that. They are a judge. Stay in your lane. You can't get into politics and make decisions for union members. You're a fucking judge and shit. Stay in your lane in the courts. But, you know, the city, go along, get along gang people are all in cahoots. Just like the same thing they did to King Donald Trump. They try to get the judges to make them bring them people back from El Salvador and all that shit. You know what I mean? Because once again, the judges is part of the go along, get along gang, y'all. Not all of them. But most of them are part of the go along, get along gang from the left, the lunatic left. And we all know Philly is a sanctuary city with nothing but left lunatics all up in there. You understand me? So they threatened the workers, the union workers, to go back to work so they can be held in contempt, so they can roll those goddamn illegal migrants off the fleet. and have them replacing y'all slowly but surely. Never fails, y'all. I told y'all. It'd be your own peoples, y'all. It'd be your own peoples. They can line their pockets up but don't want to pay the workers. Sad, man. I'd do a half-ass job if I was in the union and was in control of the union. We do some half-ass jobs from here on out. Fuck that. Let's get into this.
Ruling from a judge. These are airport dispatch workers. There will be 8 of them in total. The first shift starting at midnight tonight. And as for getting a deal to bring all of the striking workers back, that's still in question. Inside City Hall, we saw the legal side of the DC 33 strike playing out. Attorneys in courtroom 675 making their case to a judge over whether certain union workers should have to report to work during the strike. A city attorney asking for 8 airport dispatchers to be ordered back on the job. Not for convenience, he said, but for, quote, health and safety. The judge granted the motion. The workers go back at midnight.
As I've been saying about all the injunctions, they just prove how important and vital our men and women are.
That's DC 33 President Greg Boulware arriving for a negotiating session this afternoon after the judge granted that motion from the city and kept an injunction in place that sent 911 dispatchers back to work.
How common are injunctions like the ones that we have seen that have made certain workers go back to work?
Yeah, it's more common in the public realm, especially when you have such critical services like 911 operators, for example.
Zachary Kimmel is an attorney with Reed Smith in Center City. He specializes in labor matters and says if the strike continues, it's possible the city could ask to bring back workers to deal with the most visible part of the strike, the trash.
You see this trash continue to pile up. The city could potentially go back to the courts and say, hey, look, a week ago.
See, he was put in that position to say that, to make the workers go back to work, y'all. You see that? And they would have been held in contempt if they didn't go back to work, and they could have lost their job, even if they was in the union. You see what I'm saying, peoples? So yes, he probably was part of the go along, get along gang to come out with that statement, and now all of a sudden the union workers go back to work off that deal Cheryl Parker had on the table from the beginning. So if y'all took the deal from the beginning, why did y'all strike? Y'all was striking for nothing. A waste of time.
When we came here, we were able to man sanitation, but now that the trash is piling up, we have animals coming in, there's the potential for disease or something else. We need at least some of these folks to go back to work because we do have a public health risk.
Kimmel has been involved in negotiations before representing government entities. He says the back and forth coming to a deal can take time.
Wage increases, but wage increases affect things like retirement plans. They affect health and welfare benefits. They affect all these different things. So when the city comes back and does a counter proposal, or the union comes back and does a counter proposal, you got to take all those things into consideration and come up with a package and to know exactly what you're asking for or what you're offering if you're the city. You can't say sure without doing the math.
So as we wait for these negotiations now, again, this session was set to start at 2 o'clock. It's been going on now for 3 hours. Just in the last 10 minutes, we saw somebody from DC 33 come out of the building, but he went right back inside as this continues to.
District Council 33 in the city of Philadelphia broke right around 4 o'clock this morning, so just about an hour ago. And we were here to greet members of DC 33 as they walked out, led by their president, Greg Boulware. We were expecting us members of the media for them to give us a statement on camera, perhaps even excited about reaching a deal to end this ongoing strike. But the reaction was quite the opposite. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This was President Greg Boulware, the president of District Council 33, appearing visibly and audibly upset about the new deal as he walked out. He pushed right past members of the media, refused to stop and speak to us about how this deal got done. He did express some displeasure, though, with the terms of the agreement. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I'm not happy or satisfied with the outcome. The workers will be back to work as soon as they can get there. The strike has ended, so workers are to be expected at work tomorrow, or this morning, I guess you could say.
Yeah, so you heard him say he is not happy about the agreement, but workers could be back on the job later this morning. Meanwhile, Mayor Sherelle Parker released a statement on X shortly after 4 a.m. saying, quote, "I have good news tonight for the hardworking men and women of AFS CME District Council 33 in the city of Philadelphia is over. We have reached a tentative agreement with District Council 33, which must be ratified by its membership on a new 3-year contract that, coupled with the 1-year contract extension we agreed to last fall, will increase DC 33 members' pay by 14% over my 4 years in office. We'll have much more to say about this historic deal tomorrow at City Hall. We're valuing our workforce and we are safeguarding our city's hard-earned fiscal stability at the same time. The strike is over! Exclamation point. So you see the difference in tone between the city as well as members of District Council 33 who are, again, apparently not happy, the leadership at least not happy with the terms. So let's break down these numbers a little further. When you extrapolate, you take out that 1-year agreement that was already in place, it looks like the numbers for this new deal are 3% increases for the members of DC 33 over a 3-year term, which is a lot closer to what the city has been pushing for compared to the 5% raises that District Council 33 has been pushing for all along.
3 years,
again, we're expecting to learn more about how this deal was reached from members of the city's leadership as well as members of the union later on this morning. But guys, we could see trash start getting picked up as soon as later on this morning. Jim and Jan, back to you guys.
We're going to stay on top of this story.
And it really is, Ross, it's very odd that the union president doesn't seem to be happy about this if he has to then pitch it to his members, don't you think?
Absolutely. And, I was reading some comments on Facebook, don't want to dig too far into it, but the union put out their own post saying that, a deal has been reached, the strike is over. And then you saw members saying what the president had basically said there, that they are not happy with the terms of the agreement. So now he has to go back and try and explain this to them. Probably not going to be an easy day for him today.
Be interesting to hear the rest of the details. Thanks so much, Ross. And now they're
trying to figure out when exactly curbside trash will resume. And we're also working to find out when these 63 temporary dump sites will be cleaned up. We have a lot of bulk items still here, like this children's bed that someone left behind. And then the other problem that we have is also the trash bags as well that people are leaving behind instead of actually taking and picking up this trash and throwing it into the dumpster, even though some of those trash are heavy. But we've been seeing a lot of these piles just pile up throughout the city, especially in areas like this one in Germantown Avenue. Take a look at this photo showing someone seeing maggots on the trash itself. We've also been having issues with crews, non-union crews trying to clean this up. Neighbors tell us that they've been trying hard to clean all this up, but simply put, as soon as they leave, they end up getting the trash back out there and it still gets piled up again. Many people say they are frustrated by this, and possibly good news for those who have to live near this site as this tentative agreement is reached.
It's piling up. It's disgusting. We out here, we trying to enjoy ourselves. We can't stay out here for too much longer.
The odor out here is bad. The mental strain when you're looking at this trash is bad. It's just, it's off the hook.
Now, the city leaders are urging people to call 311 in case they see illegal dumpers. Again, still trying to figure out when exactly all this trash will be picked up and when the curbside trash will resume.
That's all, folks.